Toy Story, Frozen, the Super Mario Bros. Movie. What do all these movies have in common? These are some of the highest grossing animated films, not films in general, but animated films of all time. These movies have made billions of dollars at this point. I mean, Mario movie alone was a brand new venture for Illumination, and being the first movie in this upcoming Mario movie franchise has already made $1 billion on its very first entry. That is insane. Now, I think it is worth mentioning that while a movie like the Super Mario Bros. Movie is created by Illumination, there's definitely been I wouldn't want to say a plague, but most of the highest grossing animated films of all time have specifically been produced by Disney and Disney Pixar. And that's really interesting, you know, for basically my entire life. Disney and, you know, DreamWorks has been there. Blue Sky, even with their Ice Age movies, did extremely well. I think we're just so used to having these predominantly American US animation studios really being the top dogs of this global animation industry when it comes to film. I mean, like Toy Story, like everybody has seen Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2, 3, even 4, and even though I don't like 4, that made a whole lot of money. In 2019, Disney created a remake, a reimagining almost, of the original Lion King movie that came out so many years ago. And this was an interesting time because, you know, a lot of people were really nostalgic for that original Lion King movie. So when they announced that they were going to be doing a new live action, but with CG characters still, a lot of people were upset. People said that the animation was lazy, saying that, does this even count as a contender for animated films? Because it's literally just animals, like, they're just freaking animals, like, what else? Did we really need a remake to that original Lion King? No, we didn't. But it really doesn't matter because Disney made one heck of a lot of money on that movie. I'm checking right here, yeah, the Lion King 2019, $1.6 billion. That is insane. That is so much money. And it's so interesting because people just seem to really hate that movie. It's not a very well liked movie at all, yet it made this amount of money. Now, for the past, 5, 6, 7 years, it's been pretty common knowledge that yes, The Lion King 2019 is the highest grossing animated film of all time. Now, that didn't last very long. It lasted a little while, but man, was I surprised when Inside Out 2 came out in 2024, just last year, and overtook the spot. When I heard that news, I thought that was a really big deal, you know? Inside Out 2 is a sequel to the original Inside Out, obviously, which was by no means a failure, but was definitely not on this list of even the top 20 animated films in terms of how much they grossed. I honestly didn't even hear that many people talking about it, at least from my perspective. So, man, I was very surprised when I found out that Inside Out 2 overtook the spot for the highest grossing film of all time. Now, none of this matters because we've had some new news come out. Once again, the #1 spot for the highest grossing animated film has been taken over again. And you might have seen it when I switched to my Wikipedia page that I'm looking at. But this movie, Ne Zha 2, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Ne Zha 2 has overtaken the #1 spot again. It has already outsold the Lion King remake and Inside Out 2, and I believe is already on track to gross $2 billion, ultimately making it the highest grossing film of all time, and probably for the foreseeable future. Who knows, maybe another film will release and outdo Ne Zha 2. It's important to mention that I've actually never watched Ne Zha 2, I still haven't seen it. And I also haven't even seen Ne Zha 1. I hear Ne Zha 1 is on Netflix, and apparently people really like it. But just to give some backstory on this, Ne Zha is a Chinese animated film, so it's an animated movie, CG, that is released in China. And what's so interesting about that is that if you look at this page for these highest grossing animated films, you know, you see a lot of Disney stuff, you see DreamWorks, some Blue Sky stuff with Ice Age, but just kind of going through this list, I see almost nothing that is being produced from a studio outside of the US. Now, as I'm scrolling here, now right here I see Neza, which still, released in 2019. And even though it's not super high up on the list, top 31 with $700 million, that is still very good. I mean, just look at Sonic Movie 3 that just came out a couple months ago. That did about $450 million. Now, that's not to say that that's not a good number. That's really great, but the potential that these films have in racking up dough is insane when you just scroll up to the top of this list. But going back to what I was saying before, you don't really see any studios creating films on this list that are outside of the US. A lot of countries that end up getting our films, they watch them dubbed in their own languages, and that's really something that I feel like America is not used to doing. I think it really just enhances the argument that, America has really been known for their very consistent and very praised entertainment industry. But things are definitely changing. It does kind of seem like we're inching towards a world where mainstream media is not only coming from the US, but from other places in the world as well. I mean, just look at like anime, for example, that's probably one of the biggest examples I can think of right now. We are so used to consuming this anime subbed, and then we get it dubbed. This is not animation that is coming from the US. This is coming from Japan, and we're just being able to access it through a different way. Also, look at Squid Game, for example, a huge phenomenon, and this is a show that's so huge and has amassed all of these huge audience numbers all over the world. And it's a show made in Korea. I don't watch too many Korean dramas. Just in general, Korean dramas are also being really targeted to the US as well, and have been getting these large audiences here. So I just think it's really interesting. It really does seem like we're going to be getting used to a world where media isn't just from America that we're consuming here, but we'll actually be consuming media from other countries as well. And honestly, that is a little strange. Like, it is different, but hey, it seems like the media that we're getting over here from other countries is pretty cool stuff, and I'm excited overall for really seeing the future and how this all pans out. The fact that Neza 2 was able to outperform Inside Out 2 so quickly, just within a year, maybe even 6 months even, really makes me interested to see, what the next film that will overtake that number 1 spot will be. And, with populations just growing and more people being given access to entertainment, it's going to be some pretty big numbers from now on, and I feel like that number 1 spot is going to be being overtaken a lot more frequently than we're used to. Well, with that said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Subscribe if you enjoy. If you want more content like this, let me know what you want me to do next. How do you feel about this new era of content from other countries being more prominent in the US? I'd love to hear your experiences. Also, should I watch Neza 2? Is it a good film? I know I just talked about it, but I haven't really looked too much into it. Do you guys recommend it? Alright everybody, have a great day. See you next time.